Let's now stay in New York City and meet the nominee of Joel Copperman, the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for Alternative Sentencing and Employment Cases, Joe McLaughlin. For 15 years, Joe has been Cases Director of Services and Programs, and under his leadership, the organization has become a dynamic and critical go-to resource for more than 300 young men and women each year who are kept out of jail or juvenile detention and provided with counseling, job and community service opportunities, and a real future. It is Joe who has found, nurtured, and supported his staff in the development of one innovative program after another, giving at-risk youth the skills and attitudes that can help lead them to crime-free, productive lives. I get really, really talented people here, says Joe, and it's amazing when you think of it how some of these programs came about that we now use extensively. An example is art therapy, which began when a student at the local School of Visual Arts volunteered to do an internship with Cases. I said, "Hey, come on down." She did, and the kids followed her around like the Pied Piper. An art therapist clinically has the same training as a social worker, and art is much less threatening to many. Other programs Joe has developed include career exploration, an internship initiative which has tripled in size in the last 12 years, the adoption of an evidence-based curriculum for group counseling about substance abuse, resulting in significantly increased abstinence, and the creation of an after-school program for youth facing charges in family court, resulting in a drop in rearrests. In his spare time at his home in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Joe doesn't rest. He is leading an effort there to create an arts and technology center to help students stay in school and the unemployed learn job skills. And he hikes and plants and paints. But Joe's focus is always on the kids he serves. And for that focus, for that creative leadership, which has saved and enhanced the lives of thousands of young men and women, for that determination to make a difference for those at risk and for the success in doing so, we are very pleased this evening to honor Joe McLaughlin with a 2011 Lewis Hine Award for Professional Service to Children and Youth. Now let's travel west a ways and meet the nominee of Karen Bay, Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Human Services, Dixie Flier Davis. Dixie started her work life as a probation officer in the Denver juvenile courts, but she was disturbed by what she saw. Children removed by the courts from unsafe homes, but then placed into the foster care system with little chance of ever finding a permanent family. If we're going to take those children away, she thought to herself, we need to give them something better. So Dixie changed fields, taking a position with Lutheran Social Services as supervisor of adoption. There she began attending meetings of an informal committee for Colorado adoption agencies, all concerned with how to better connect families looking to adopt with waiting foster children. It was as a member of this group that she not only came up with new and better ideas, but pushed to get them put into practice. First, she got the committee to open an office in North Denver to make it easier for black families to find out about black foster children. Next, she got the group to ask a local television station if they would do a feature profiling waiting foster children. The show generated an outpouring of phone calls. Then another TV station offered to do a similar feature each week, and a problem arose. What single agency could possibly handle all those calls? Dixie had the answer. In 1983, she founded the Adoption Exchange, not an agency at all, but literally a central exchange for information and resources. Today, the exchange connects adoption agencies in 8 states with American families here and abroad. Children are profiled not only on television, but also via email newsletters and a website. The exchange also provides education for every phase of adoption. Meanwhile, Dixie herself continues to influence child welfare policy on a national level through articles and appearances, one of them right here tonight. Since the exchange was founded, it has connected well over 6,000 waiting children with permanent adoptive homes, for giving those 6,000 children and many, many more to come a pathway to a safe and healthy childhood where none existed before, for raising the consciousness of a state, region, and nation to the problem and the solution, for giving of herself every day to improve the well-being of America's children. We're delighted this evening to present Dixie Flier Davis with the 2011 Lewis Hine Award for Professional Service to Children and Youth.
So many thanks to the committee for bringing a light to the needs of our nation's most vulnerable children.
Congratulations, Dixie, and thank you so much for all you've done. We've reached the midpoint in announcing the unheralded heroes. Now we want to turn for a couple of moments to this evening's special awardees, and special they are. Two of our recipients could not be here with us this evening, but their work has been critical to helping improve the lives of tens of thousands of children. We will be presenting these two awards to them in separate ceremonies in the next few weeks, but I hope you will read their stories in your book, and as you do, I know you will recognize their importance and their intrinsic worthiness of these honors tonight. I will not detail their work here, but I hope you will give a round of applause for 2011 Lewis Hine Distinguished Service honorees Elaine Wynn and Andre Agassi. Now, please let me turn the program back to NCLC Board Chair Eric Butler.
Thanks, Jeff. The NCLC Board has also designated one other distinguished awardee tonight, and I'm honored to make that presentation. Since coming to the Dwight School in New York City as headmaster and chancellor in 1967, Stephen H. Spahn has transformed it from a New York private school into a uniquely international institution, one stressing dialogue between cultures, training in leadership and community service, and equality of educational opportunity. So strong has his influence been on more than 4 decades of students that visiting alumni invariably stop by his office to thank him. Stephen says only that he has considered each student to be his personal mission. The most extraordinary people I know are ordinary people who've done extraordinary things, he says. That's what I've tried to teach my kids. I want to ignite the spark of genius in every one of them. Fully a third of the school's student population comes from nearly 40 countries around the world. In 1996, the Dwight School became the first school in North America to offer the International Baccalaureate program, accepted by every country in the world for university admissions. Students at Dwight in grades 9 through 12 are required to undertake community service projects and to write about their experience. Often this takes the form of overseas efforts in countries such as Kenya, Peru, Costa Rica, and India. Many of these projects are undertaken in partnership with the Institute for Civic Leadership, which Stephen co-founded with his son Kirk, who I believe is here tonight, in 2000 to inspire and educate students. Meanwhile, in keeping with Stephen's belief in supporting an open society based not on privilege but on merit, the school has provided more than 1,000 scholarships to financially disadvantaged students from the inner city during his tenure. What makes America great is that anybody can have the dream of rising to the top, and they do, he says. Stephen's not resting on his laurels, though, even after 44 years. He is planning to reorganize the school administration so that he will be free to devote nearly all his time to meeting with students on an individual basis. They're the ones who matter. I want to spend the next decade inspiring them to follow their own dreams. I think you can see why the NCLC board chose this year to honor Stephen H. Spahn with the 2011 Lewis Hine Distinguished Service Award for his work on behalf of children and youth. Stephen.
I couldn't help but look at the program, and I said, those could very well have been the faces of my grandparents. I owe a lot, our family owes a lot to America. Now, it's interesting that first I want to thank the organization for the work they've done and for the honor that they have bestowed upon me. It's inspiring and it's humbling. But I want to thank the Dwight family for coming this evening, for making this award possible, because it is really your award. I want to use this opportunity to say a few words about a vision I have An idea that is related to this award, to transforming the lives of young people all over our country and perhaps around the world. President Obama, in his State of the Union address, opened a new transformative age in American history, equivalent to the building of the great transcontinental railroad system. As we depart a transitional era and approach a world more and more culturally and ethically fragmented, our mission must be to know each other better. The better we understand others, the more America can stay competitive and remain a world leader. A great new American frontier society is emerging through a viral system of community service, both at home and abroad. We would like to expand educational experience beyond even the classroom and into every village, town, city, state, nation across the globe. You've seen this in the newspaper every day in Egypt and Tunisia. In this first term, President Obama signed a bill that established a voluntary national service program, a reasonable goal of 250,000 volunteers by the year 2014. And he also wanted to embed community service in every school. It was a beginning, but a modest beginning. We can do a lot better. All of you out there can help us. You can make it better. Those of us who are part of the International Baccalaureate family, we call it the IB, we have been doing this since its founding in 1967. We have 1 million students every year doing this. 250,000 in America? That's nothing. That's nothing for our country. Instead, what you want to see is you want to see every one of us making sure that young people are doing service, public service. We need to raise our expectations. We need to raise our goals. We ask you, again, all of you, to mobilize the youth of America. And I think of one man who stands out among all the others. And that is the late Martin Luther King Jr., when he said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. For far too long, only our military has carried the burden of sustaining our liberties. Now every American should equally, fairly, and justly serve as leaders, AmeriCorps and Peace Corps volunteers, or in our armed services. A real education is not about getting into an elite college or becoming rich. It is about a learning to fulfill fully and appreciate the diverse talents and minds shaped by vastly different backgrounds and experiences that are the mosaic of our country. It is also the key to reducing unemployment, and it is the key to good economics. Together we must answer this key question. What can we do to ensure that this generation achieves greatness and make the world a better place? A united people is what we wish to bequeath to the next generation. It is in the character of our people to serve a cause for the higher good. To protect liberty and freedom is our obligation. I believe the answer is public service. Please join me in encouraging our public officials to make this profound and life-enhancing experience available to every young person who graduates or doesn't graduate from a high school in America. It will transform a new generation and our country as well. I thank you.
you.